Aloha, this is Roger Haeske, and today's video is entitled Proof that Fruit is Low in Vitamins and Minerals, at least compared to greens. Okay, so basically I'm going to be comparing or doing a more mathematically precise, and it's going to be more interesting comparison of a video I recently made. Let me just shrink myself down here and explain what I mean. Okay, so the numbers say it all. I recently made this video, proof why fruitarian and raw foodists are usually malnourished, which you can go see here. Okay. However, in this particular video, I want to do a much better job of mathematically showing you how much more nutrients were in my version of a raw food diet versus the typical fruitarian diet day that I gave you a calculation for. I wanted to give you the percentage increase or decrease of each nutrient, so it would be way more obvious. In the previous video, I was just going back and forth between the chronometer, and I didn't have the numbers right next to each other, and I didn't have the percentage increase. So this time I took the time, I calculated all like over 30 different nutrients, and you're going to see the percentage increase. So I'll try to get through this relatively quickly, but you'll be able to see the big difference, okay? So the categories I'll be showing you the difference, the nutrients in are the vitamin, mineral, and protein categories. Now, what's interesting is that there's a very stunning finding that I learned from this for sure. Let me just put that up here. Okay. So every single nutrient in my diet was higher than the fruitarian diet. And also, by the way, I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this because I haven't checked every single nutrient, but I believe also that every single nutrient in my diet was higher than the fruitarian, than the typical low-fat raw food diet day. All right, but that one, I know most of the nutrients are higher. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't checked them yet. I haven't compared each and every one, and maybe I'll make a future video on that if you guys are interested. Okay, so all of my nutrients were higher, and my diet is 100%, at least what is listed in chronometer, giving the nutrients is 100% from whole raw food sources. There are no supplements whatsoever, no juices, nothing like that. All right. In all three categories of vitamins, minerals, and protein, my raw diet had more nutrients for every single nutrient. So what does this tell us? It tells us that fruit in general is not very high in nutrients, that greens are even higher in vitamins than fruit. And most raw foodists are taught, I was taught this, at least, well, in the old days, if you're more from a natural hygiene school, there are a number of different raw food schools. But what I learned is that fruits are higher in vitamins, greens are higher in minerals. Okay? But it turns out this isn't true. Because if it were true, then fruit, the fruitarian diet, should have some nutrients that are higher than my much more diverse raw food diet. Why, you ask? Because on a fruitarian diet, they're able to specialize on fruit. They're able to eat a lot more fruit. And so if any of the nutrients were higher in fruit overall, that would mean that in some categories at least, the fruitarian diet should beat me. But there was not one single category that the fruitarian diet nutrients were higher than my raw complete diet in my chronometer account. Now, one other thing I want to emphasize, note, I also did eat quite a bit of fruit on my diet. I'm not in any way shunning fruit, as fruit is extremely important in a raw food diet for many reasons, including getting enough calories and getting enough calories from simple to digest which gives you a lot more energy. You're not like, for instance, if you're eating pasta and things like that, complex carbohydrates, don't think of that as long-lasting energy. Think of that, because it's not. It's the same exact energy as fruit. It just takes longer before it hits your system, because complex carbohydrates have to be broken down. And what happens when you're breaking something down? You're using energy. Your body's using extra energy to break it down when it doesn't really need to. So fruit gives you quick energy. It lasts just as long, okay, the actual energy, because your body can only use simple sugars for energy in terms of carbohydrates. It can't use complex carbohydrates. So you don't have that energy until it's broken down. So you're wasting energy breaking it down. So this is a good thing to know. Now, where was I reading from? Okay. Okay. So, you get more calories from eating fruit. And of course, there's all sorts of nutrients that you're getting in fruit that you're not even going to get in vegetables. And there's all sorts of nutrients in vegetables that you're not going to get in fruit. So they're both extremely important to eat. Okay. So, but if you want to get your fuel, you're going to need, on a raw food diet, you're going to need to eat some fruit, or just eat just a whole bunch of savory raw carb foods. But I like to have a balance: fruits, greens, herbs, occasionally nuts and seeds, and more often savory raw carbs foods, savory raw carbs kind of foods, as in my savory raw carbs recipe program. So with that done, let's go on to something else. Let's actually get to the numbers. Okay, so we're finally going to read it over quickly, and you will quickly see the differences. Some of the differences are over 1,000%. Okay, so let's do the vitamins first. Okay, so vitamin B1, all of these, there's a little sub area beneath it. All right, so let's take a look. So vitamin B1, this is the Fruitarian diet. All of the first listed numbers are the Fruitarian diet. The second listed number is my raw complete diet. So 314 is raw complete, 202 is the Fruitarian diet. And that was an increase of 55%. All right, so even in the vitamins, I'm getting an increase. Vitamin B2, 159% to 332, an increase of about 109% if you round it off. Vitamin B3, 105 to 196, an 86, really an 87% increase. B6, 357 to 436, that was an increase of 22.13%. And this, I believe, is the absolute, I think it's the lowest percentage increase out of all the nutrients. All the nutrients were higher than this, except for vitamin B6. Folate, it's a pretty big increase, an increase of 166%, okay, from 233% to 619. Vitamin A, an increase of 415%. Look at that, okay? It's 4 times more vitamin A in my diet. Vitamin C, well, fruit is very good in vitamin C, right? Yet I still got a 52.81% increase in vitamin C. I think I didn't even list the fiber, but even in terms of nutrients, I have way more fiber also in my raw diet, but I didn't actually write that down. Vitamin E, 78% to 180%, an increase of 130%. Now, vitamin E is one of those nutrients that is generally hard to get if you're not eating the right foods on a raw food diet. If you're not paying attention, it's very easy to be on the low side. Vitamin K. What happened? Okay, so an increase of 4,429%. I get way more vitamin K than the Fruitarians. Okay, now this, I wonder if I could get rid of that. Okay, next, let's close this up. But that's the vitamins. Let's go to the minerals. Okay, you can see the numbers here for yourself for a minute before I expand and give you the percentage increase. Okay, percentage increase of 142% in calcium. Copper, an increase of 47%. Iron, increase of 303%. Okay, you get way more iron. That's an important nutrient to get enough of because a lot of people are not getting enough iron. Magnesium, I had an increase of 86%. 86% more than the Fruitarians. Manganese, increase of 168%. Phosphorus, an increase of 107%. Potassium, increase of 65%. Selenium, an increase of 152%. Remember, selenium is one of the most difficult nutrients to get on a raw food diet, especially if you're not eating a ton of nuts and seeds. Now, I would think if you're eating a Hollywood raw, high-fat raw, Atkins raw version of a raw food diet, then probably you could get plenty of zinc. If you're eating a ton of nuts and seeds, they're high in zinc. But if you're trying to keep your overall fat levels on the lower side, it's harder to get zinc. And by the way, I skipped zinc and selenium, both actually. Zinc and selenium are both higher in nuts, generally higher in nuts and seeds. Okay, so I got 152% more selenium. Sodium, this is probably the biggest increase of all. I had an increase of 2,633% sodium. And as I've said in previous videos, this is one of the big, besides all these other nutrients, sodium itself, too low sodium is one of the big reasons people fail. It's one of the big reasons, huge reasons people have cooked food cravings. You simply must get your sodium levels up. And the zinc, 174% increase in zinc. Okay? All vitamins, all minerals, my diet was higher. Let's look at protein and amino acids. So you can take a quick look at the numbers here, and then I'm going to open each one up. Protein. So I had 77% more protein in my diet than a Fruitarian diet. Hey, good stuff. Remember, my protein was 100%, except, the lowest one was cysteine, which was only 100%. All the other individual amino acids were over. Well, you can see that here. I had 100% cysteine, and everything else was over 100%. And of course, the Fruitarian here is only 45%. So that was 122% increase. Histidine, 46% increase. Isoleucine, increase of 120%. Leucine, increase of 123%. Lysine, increase of 55%. Methionine, increase of 96%. Phenylalanine, an increase of 90%. 309, that's an interesting name, an increase of 101%. Tryptophan, increase of 89%. Tyrosine, an increase of 155%. Valine, increase of 104%. Do you see how much stunningly more nutrients that I'm getting than a Fruitarian? And also, really, compared to a low-fat raw, I'm getting way more, typical. What I've witnessed and seen most people who are doing low-fat raw, and most of them, like I say, they don't really focus that much on greens and herbs. They think, well, you only need a little bit of that. And they don't really eat the right ones and enough variety of greens. Okay, so there you go. There you have it. That is sort of a big quick breakdown of the nutrients. Gives you, now that you have the numbers side by side and you see the percentage increase, you can see how much more nutrients I'm getting and why I've been thriving for over 17 and a half years on a raw food diet. Although I must say I was not eating as nutrient rich even a year ago as I am now. So I've found some secrets just recently of how to up my numbers, and a lot of it actually came to me starting to use a chronometer account and getting familiar with that, entering my foods there daily and learning from that. I sort of got obsessed with that and studying the numbers, and so eventually I found foods to help me fill in any gaps that I wasn't getting, even though I was already getting way more nutrients than most people. Okay. And so over the years, in my first year or two, I wasn't getting anywhere close to the nutrients I am now. Yet even in my first year or two, I was eating a lot of greens. Okay. So there are different levels you can take yourself to in eating raw, and you can take yourself to a place where you're doing very, very well. But, so it's been a long learning process. I've been learning over doing this every single day for over 17 and a half years. All right. And one final thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to give you a precise number, okay, about that no fat raw selenium and zinc superfood I was talking about. Okay. So in the previous video, I gave you a very rough guesstimate of how much selenium is in this amazing raw food. So this time I took a couple of minutes and actually calculated the numbers for you. The number is actually much higher than I think I even said. All right. So if you eat, let's take a look. Just 50 calories from this amazing fill in the nutrient gap foods, you get 107% selenium. This is a low fat food. Okay, you don't have to eat 50 calories worth. If you eat 20 calories worth and you eat all these other foods, you're going to get plenty of selenium. Okay, 28 to 25 calories worth. I mean, it depends what foods you eat, because some foods are higher in selenium than others. It also gives you 23% zinc. I mean, it's not as good as selenium, but that extra zinc really helps because it's hard to get zinc, and this is only on 50 calories. So it's very useful. And even the calcium is decent in calcium. It's good in iron. But these are the two ones that are much harder to get in a raw food diet. So you can learn what this nutrient gap meeting food is by joining us inside the Superbeing Club. I've already made 2 videos going into depth. For instance, in this video, I showed just the nutrients that I got on my raw food days, but I did not show what those foods were. I did not fill in the blanks. Well, recently I totally filled in the blanks on both of those days, but this is reserved for Superbeing Club members who are supporting my efforts. Now, I do not take advertising on YouTube. Not only that, YouTube is doing everything in their power to make sure my video doesn't get out to that many viewers. It's called shadow banning. So social media is shadow banning me, but I do not support the corporate, I do not support corporate media. I don't support what they advertise. I don't want to be promoting their nonsense. So in order for me to keep bringing you this stuff, I have, there's products I sell. I do coaching. I have, recipe programs, things like that. And, if you want to support me and get a ton of great information that can totally transform your life, I do recommend that you check out the Superbeing Club. So let's just go back here for a second. And why don't we open up the Superbeing Club page? Now, what I wanted to point out, well, now I'm in 2 places. Can I get rid of the second me and the third me? Oh my God, this is crazy. I don't know. What would happen if I did that? They all go. And okay. Well, whatever. You don't need to see me. All right. I just wanted to point something out. So this page is about the Superbeing Club, just has a few things that are in the Superbeing Club, including my simple slimming system, which the Brain and Body Supercharger was like a fantastic natural alternative to coffee. It's amazing. I love it. The Miracle Sprain Remedy. Yeah, you get a sprain, the pain goes away in like half an hour. And you can walk and you're not debilitated for 2 or 3 days. This is a nice little technique here. Flu immunity too. You'll avoid getting a cold or flu for the rest of your life, you and your family. Now, these are just some tiny bit of what is inside the Superbeing Club. There's way, way, way more stuff, including 3 different videos like this. I made a previous video where I just showed all of the nutrients in my diet for one particular day of eating. That was a day where I was eating higher in terms of, let's say, nuts and seeds a little bit, but it was still only 10% of my calories came from nuts and seeds. And that was another day where I reached 100% of the nutrient levels. But in the Superbeing Club, I went and I broke down exactly what foods I ate to be able to reach 100%. Okay, so there are perks that you're not going to get just by watching the YouTube videos, by taking advantage of the Superbeing Club. But there is that, like I said, this page here is just listing a very tiny amount. This is just some bonus activities. I have a whole listing of magic ideas to improve your life. We have now a whole raw food section where I'm showing you some really important stuff. There's also, you can learn, at least for now, you can learn about the magic detox herb, which makes it easier. It's like it improves your ability to lose weight. It can heal many things. We did a whole month of that, daily, posting questions and our progress and stuff like that. And there's all sorts of great stuff in there. So I'm not going to get into it in detail, but just to let you know that what you see here of the Superbeing Club right now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think, if you do feel like supporting what I'm doing, if you're feeling that my emails and my videos are bringing you information that is helping you, well, then you may find that the Superbeing Club, not the Superbeing Glove, Superbeing Club takes it to another level. There's just some great stuff in there. All right, so that's it for this video, and I hope you found the information useful. All right, so long. This is Roger Haeske, the Eternal Teenager. Sorry, I haven't figured out how to show my face here. Well, maybe if I did that. Oh, I'm back. Okay. So anyway, aloha, so long, blessings to you, and wishing you great health, happiness, and joyous success throughout your entire life. Okay, so long. Take care.